Quality assurance with DocBridgeDelta. Faster, easier, and more accurate. DocBridgeDelta is Compart's quality control tool. It is designed to compare two print or formatted output files, identify any differences found, and then present those differences in a meaningful and easily understandable manner. The most common use cases for DocBridgeDelta are regression testing, iteration testing, and archival verification. DocBridgeDelta can be run interactively via the web interface or in automation mode via the batch or web service interfaces. Once DocBridgeDelta is installed, it's ready to use. Just select the out-of-the-box comparison profile, the two files that you want to compare, and for example purposes, we're going to also highlight the objects on the page and show their positioning. Then you just click the Compare button. The files will be uploaded to the server, the comparison process will be run, and then when complete, you'll be navigated to the results page. Here we have links to your output files, and also a zip file containing all files used in the comparison. The two files that you compared, the configuration file, and all the output that was generated. Now we'll take a look at the difference PDF file. It contains a summary page with information about the comparison process and the results. There are bookmarks for every page that is different, and by default, only the difference pages are provided. And we also have a comment list that has detailed information about all the differences. If we expand the bookmark, we can see that there's difference information for each page. And then if we go ahead and click on the bookmark, we're brought to the first page. Here on the left-hand side, we can see the reference or the original version of the file. On the right-hand side is the candidate or the new version. And then in the middle is a digital light table view. Now if we go ahead and zoom in on the reference page, we can see that image items are highlighted in yellow, text items are highlighted in blue, and this helps us identify how well or not well a document is optimized. Now if we go ahead and zoom in a bit more, we can see that we have some additional information about the objects on the page. Here in green, we have the object type, the color space and color value, and the X and Y coordinates. Now let's look at some of the reports generated by the comparison process. We have a different CSV file. This contains the same detailed information that's found in the PDF that we just saw. There's also a text comparison report, which we'll show right now. As we can see, the layout is very similar to the PDF. We have all the text from the reference page on the left, all the text from the candidate page on the right, and in the middle here we have our comparisons and differences. We can see here there's a 0 highlighted in red, a 1 highlighted in green, and this tells us that the text content changed. What used to say 20 years ago now says 21 years ago. This is important for those within the workflow who are concerned with document content and not as much about the layout and formatting. Now we're going to look at creating custom configuration profiles. As we can see in this drop-down list, we have already created several of them that are available for comparison processing. To create a new profile, we click the Configure tab, and we're brought to this page that gives a listing of existing configurations. Here we can edit them, we can copy them, or we can export them. In addition, we can import existing configurations, and this is very important because then we can now share our configurations with other users. Now we're going to edit an existing profile. As you can see, we've already uploaded a reference document and a candidate document. Here we also have access to some other advanced settings. But we're going to go ahead and look at how we actually define some of the custom logic and some of the custom settings. This page is broken up into three main areas: page types, definition for these page types and the tests that we want to do, and then the document viewer. Now with page types, these are important because sometimes we need to determine and define the beginning and end of a document. We can also determine what types of tests that we want to do based on specific page types. So first, we need to use logic to determine what a page type is and how you'd recognize it. So here we've created a capture area or a capture variable called page, and we're checking to see if it contains the text prepared for. If that's the case, we know that this is the first page. Once we've defined the page logic, we can determine what tests will be run. In this case, we'll be checking the item position, number of items on the page, page resolution, checking if there are any differences in the pixel images, the page size. Also, we can redact content or remove content from the page and omit that from the comparison process. This helps us reduce false positives. Here we have a mask area defined. We're going to apply it to the reference and candidate page. And then we're also going to define the selection behavior. In this case, we're going to just remove the items that are completely inside this mask area. We could also just block it off, or we can have another selection option if we have, say, a full page image and we only want to remove that without creating a full mask area. We could select to only remove items partially or completely inside the mask area. Now, once we've defined the mask area and the selection behavior, we can also filter out the types of items that would be removed. In this case, we're going to only remove the text items. Now, once we've defined the page type and the checks and the mask areas, we can actually just go ahead and run a quick interactive preview comparison. Now that we've run our comparison, we have output that's very similar to what we saw in the PDF. Here we have the difference detail off to the side, and when you highlight the objects or highlight the listings here, the objects on the page that match are highlighted as well. So we can see here in the address block between the reference and candidate, as we mouse over, we're highlighting the separate objects. We are given the detail information about what is different on this page. So if there are position differences, text content differences, font differences, or if there are unmatched items. We can also filter this information by reference page, candidate page, or even the type of differences. There may be times when we want to compare two documents that are in a different sort order. In that case, we can use the match and extract functionality. Instead of using page variables like we did in the previous example, we're going to go ahead and use the metadata from the AFP file. We can see that we have available to us the page groups, the TLEs, and the NOPs. For this example, we're going to say that if the page group changes, then this is a first page type. Once we've defined the page type, we can go ahead and look at our match and extract settings. Here, we're going to use the TLE called customer number for match and extract. That means that we'll use the TLE as an index field or a unique identifier for that document. In addition, we're going to extract the TLE called name, the TLE called first name, and the NOPs. All these will be exported into a CSV report that we can view afterwards. Now, just to show that these are in different sort order, we'll run a quick preview, and we can see that the names are different. Now let's test the match and extract profile that we just created. We'll select our sample files and then run the comparison process. As we can see, there were no differences found. And if we look at the extract CSV file, we can see that we pulled the information from the metadata within the files. In this case, we matched by customer number. And now we can see that the documents are matching. We match page 1 and 2 from the reference to page 9 and 10 of the candidate. They both have the same customer number from the TLE. In addition, we did extract the data from the other metadata from the fields, the TLE name, first name, and the NOP. This concludes our demonstration of DocBridgeDelta. Thank you.